Figure A shows a straight beam. A cross-section of the beam is shown just to the right of it. In the beam, NP is called the neutral plane. Neutral plane is the plane passing through the horizontal centroidal axes of all the sections of the beam. The neutral plane is clearly shown in the 3D diagram shown in figure B. When the beam is loaded, it will bend as shown in figure C. The vertical sections AA and BB will rotate above the neutral plane, giving the new positions A', and B', B'. At the top, AB has become shorter by a length equal to EC. Therefore, the strain in AB equals EC over AB, which is equal to epsilon C. I said AA and BB will rotate above the neutral plane to give the new positions A', and B', B'. When A', and B', are extended, they will meet at a point which we call the center of curvature. The distance from the center of curvature to the neutral plane is called the radius of curvature, capital R. We also see that at the top, AB has contracted. AB has become shorter by an amount EC. EC by 2 gives EC. Therefore, the strain in AB at the top is EC divided by AB equals epsilon C, say, equals epsilon C, say. This strain is a compressive strain producing a compressive stress at the top of the beam, producing a compressive stress sigma C at the top of the beam. By Hooke's law, sigma C is proportional to epsilon C. Therefore, sigma C equals a constant E into epsilon C. Therefore, E equals sigma C over epsilon C. E is called the modulus of elasticity. And to honor the scientist Young, who studied stresses in beams, capital E is also called the Young's modulus. At the bottom surface of the beam, as explained earlier, we get E equals sigma T over epsilon T. At the bottom of the beam, we get E equals sigma T over epsilon T in the same way as explained earlier. As we start at the top of the beam and go gradually vertically downwards, the compressive stress sigma C will linearly decrease and reach 0 at the neutral axis. In figure D, we see a cross-section of the beam. In this cross-section, the neutral plane has become a line. Therefore, it is called the neutral axis. Below the neutral axis, this stress will change to tension and linearly increase up to a maximum of sigma T at the bottom. This is shown in figure D, and the diagram showing the stresses is called the stress diagram. Bending stresses in beams. These stresses are calculated by the bending stress formula, also called the flexure formula. The formula is the bending stress formula or the flexure formula is MOI equals sigma y equals E over R, where M equals bending moment at the section considered. I is the second moment of area above the neutral axis or the bending axis of the section. Sigma is the bending stress at any vertical distance y from NA. E equals modulus of elasticity of the material of the beam. R equals radius of curvature of the beam. This formula gives us three equations. MOI equals sigma over y, MOI equals E over R, and sigma over y equals E over R. Example 1. Using sigma y equals E over R, sigma C equals sigma T equals E y over R equals 200, y is 2 millimeters, R. So you can take the average. Now we have example 2 given on the board. Here we have to find the maximum bending stresses in an I section. First, we have to calculate the second moment of area about the neutral axis. Ixx or INA equals 1/12 100 into 140 cube minus 90 into 100 cubed equals 15.3 into 10 to the power 6 millimeters to the power 4. The maximum stresses will be given on the extreme fibers where y equals 70. Equals plus or minus the D section is given in the board, but we do not know where the centroid is. So first we have to find the position of the centroid. Let the position of the centroid be y bar from the top edge. Y bar from the top edge. Then taking moments of areas about the top edge. Moment of total area equals sum of the moments of part areas. Then top part is therefore 100 into 20 plus 100 into 10 into y bar equals 100 into 20 into 10 plus 100 into 10 into 70. Therefore, y bar equals here 30. Then INA equals 1/12. INA equals 1/12 into 100 into 20 cube plus 100 into 20 into 20 squared plus 10 into 100, no, plus 1/12 into 10 into 100 cubed plus 10 into 100 maybe 90. Eh? So this centroid is here 40. So here I end. Sigma T maximum is at the bottom. Therefore, sigma T maximum equals M over I equals now that's a very good answer. Normally apex yield stress anyway. At the top, the maximum stress is compressive and given by sigma C maximum equals 12 into 10 to the power 6 over 3.3 into 10 to the power 6 into 30. So that is equals 109. So those values are good. In the stress diagram, we see that the maximum stress is at the bottom. So this will become 120. And this is compressive because the beam is a cantilever. The other maximum stress therefore is at the top and equals 30 over 90 into 120 equals 1/3 of 120 and is tensile. Methana cantilever is a compression at the bottom and this is the maximum stress anyway. Now the next problem, since the beam is a cantilever beam, the bottom stresses are in compression and the top stresses are in tension. If the effective stress is 60 Newton per millimeter squared in tension, the top stress equals 60 Newton per millimeter squared. Therefore, the bottom stress equals 60 into 3 equals 180 Newton per millimeter squared. But this cannot exceed 150 Newton per millimeter squared. So this assumption is wrong. The correct assumption is to assume that the bottom stress is 150 Newton per millimeter squared. Therefore, MR equals I sigma OY. Sigma maximum bottom 90 is 90.